This video series is a remake of a plot explanation I made for 13 Sentinels back in 2020 with the original Western launch. I'm remaking it now due to the Switch port being released and also because the original had poor audio quality. Please enjoy and be wary of spoilers throughout the entirety of these 7 videos. Coming home from school, Megumi sees that the news reported the Sentinel as a helicopter clipping the skull and that Juro has no memory of the event. Fluffy admits he was lying about using magic, but promises that he's indeed trying to keep everyone alive and retrieve Juro's memories. He orders Megumi to shoot Tomi next, which she does when the two are caught in a crowd at the cafeteria, but this draws a nearby Nenji's suspicion. Megumi comes home to learn Juro has been dreaming of Iori. Already jealous of the two spending time together, Megumi is conflicted when Fluffy tells her that Iori is her next target. She takes Iori to the girls' bathroom and shoots her there, admitting that she's doing it for herself. Ryoko barges in and confronts Megumi, also revealing that Megumi is the only one who can see Fluffy. Soon after, Tomi and Ryoko overhear Juro talking to Kyuta and tell him that Kyuta too is someone only he can see. However, Kyuta simply hacks Juro's mind to remove his suspicions and sends him home with another videotape containing his own memories. Shu comes home with the knowledge that the SIU are watching him, but Inaba contacts him again, telling him that Ida has found her and wants to eliminate her. She tells him that Universal Control is monitoring all of them and deceiving them about their true reality before revealing her true identity as the previous version of Tomi Kisaragi. She explains that she hid from Universal Control by broadcasting her singing on an ordinary channel and using it to contact him. He leaves to save her, only to be met by Ryoko, but when he explains he wants to stop Ida, she joins him. On the way to where his Sentinel is hidden, she explains that Ida took Yuki to activate the computer in Sector 3, and that Shu's Sentinel isn't harming him as hers did her. While the two don't realize it, this is because Sentinel 20 is brand new, and thus doesn't contain DD-426. The pair find the Sentinel at the edge of the sector and warp to Sector 3 where they find Ida with Yuki and the SIU operatives. Ida explains that he left Shu with his parents as a child and that Ryoko only wants to stop him out of jealousy that he chose to use Yuki's credentials instead, as Shu using a Sentinel means Ida, who has the same genetic ID, is no longer able to use Universal Control himself. Think of it as Shu stealing admin rights from him. Inaba tries to tell Ida that creating another loop won't work anymore, but before she can do so, he shuts her down. A brief scuffle results in Shu and Ryoko overpowering Ida and one of the guards, but Ida recovers and takes Ryoko hostage before shooting Shu with a stun gun and ordering Yuki to help him as planned. However, Ryoko activates the gate before she can do so and the three are shifted to Sector 4, leaving Shu and the SIU men stranded. Shu tries to get the computer running again, but the shifter activates of its own accord, revealing Natsuno and BJ. Thus ends Shu's story. Back in Sector 4, Ryoko, Ida, and Yuki appear in Sakura's science lab. Ryoko confronts Ida about his plans to discard her for the previous Kisaragi. Admitting that she's willing to be used but not turned down for someone else, she shoots him. Meanwhile, Tomi and Okuno warp to the supercomputer in Sector 3 to find Shu and Natsuno still there. While the latter two are hesitant at first, BJ clears the air between the two pairs and explains that the newcomers are necessary to save Inaba. He works with Okuno to revoke Ida's locks on her, then Tomi uses her biometric ID to restart her. She explains the nature of the terraforming project to those present and that she can control the satellite she's trapped in using the privileges granted to the original Tomi of 2188, a terraforming researcher. Inaba explains that the only way to fix the situation is to alter Universal Control, but to do so they will need to fight the kaiju. Back in Sector 4, Shu takes an unconscious Ryoko to the nurse's office. She wakes up but has forgotten everything that transpired, including Ida's death and betrayal. Keitaro runs into Juro and Kyuta on their way home once more and demands to know how Juro summoned his Sentinel earlier. Juro only remembers the Sentinel from a videotape Kyuta gave him, but while talking to him, Keitaro reveals that he's the only one who can see him. Juro remembers Tomi and Ryoko telling him the same thing in the past, and Kyuta reveals himself to be the older Juro Izumi and wipes his memory once more. The next day in the cafeteria, Yuki explains to Ryoko what she did. Though she's in denial about killing Ida, she remembers the footage she saw of his attempts to revive the previous Tomi and collapses. Juro, who kept his memory of Kyuta's true nature due to overexposure to the wipes, tries to hide from him in the nurse's office, where he finds her recovering. The pair talk about the memories implanted in Juro's head, but Ryoko realizes that the memories he's describing aren't those of his past self, but that of 426. She collapses from the strain of trying to remember, and Kyuta appears and attacks Juro's mind again. Ryoko tries to activate the gate in the science room to find Ida, but is cornered by Chihiro and Renya, who explain that she was the one who sabotaged the Sentinels, not 426 or A, and that she's the only one who knows the password to remove the virus. The pair let her roam freely because her memory deterioration was critical and they didn't want to agitate her, but time is running out. However, unable to believe she and Ida are responsible for the virus, she collapses once more. She wakes up once more in the nurse's office, but this time with A, and learns that she has forgotten almost everything but how to pilot the Sentinels. Unable to remove the infection, Chihiro wants to give up on using them, but Renya argues that Ryoko can still use them as she has nothing left to lose. Though A refuses, Ryoko still remembers that Ida gave her Sentinel 14 and is determined to use it for his sake. This brings her story to a close. Nenji and Takatoshi, each suspicious of Tomi and Okino's activities respectively, scout out Tokisaka Shrine, Nenji being led there by Juro, who finds the remains of the Tamao android, who remembers the day 426 took over his mind and leaves to question Megumi. The other two remain until Tomi and Okino return, at which point Takatoshi convinces Okino to tell him all he knows. Okino agrees and takes them to the supercomputer in Sector 3. Okino explains that the kaiju are targeting the supercomputer in each sector, travelling back 40 years at a time but skipping 1985 because that's where the one issuing commands to the kaiju exists. This is why all refugees from other time periods are being gathered there for the final battle. However, even if the one sending the code dies, that authority would get transferred to one of the other 15. Okino reveals that this is only 20% of what the nanomachines in everyone's brains do, and he can't work out the other 80% of their functionality. At the same time, Juro confronts Megumi about his identity, but she refuses to answer, as letting him live as Kurabe was one of the conditions that this era's Tamao laid out for her to live with him. A stressed Juro tries to get answers from Chihiro and fails, only to get kidnapped by Okino and Takatoshi. Before going out of range, finds 426's consciousness inside Juro's mind and projects him so that he and Takatoshi can also talk to him. 426 explains the nature of the kaiju to those present, and that he plans to unlock the rest of the game's functionality so that they can upgrade their Sentinels to better fight them. Having seen the video of his past self, Takatoshi corroborates his claim. Megumi then arrives to save Juro, and 426 leaves Juro and his kidnapper's memories intact when they escape. Megumi tells Juro that 426 will restore his memories, but Juro tells her that he has only been receiving 426's memories. Losing more and more of his own memories, A transfers command of his Sentinel to Iori and leaves with Chihiro. He asks her about Operation Aegis and looping, but she reveals that the facility currently housing them is at its breaking point. Next time, the entire facility will be destroyed and rebuilt, including Sector 0, so even those backed up there will lose their memories. The archives explain this in more detail. The facility was built to last 5,000 years, but the simulation has already looped over 300 times. Considering each one lasts for 16 years, this is either the 312th or the 313th loop. A collapses, but before Chihiro can help him, her child version appears. Claiming there's only room for one Chihiro in the world, the child kills her. Thanks for making it to the end of this segment. I'll see you in the next. Please consider liking, commenting, subscribing to help the channel grow. But again, thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.